There was a time not that long ago when you could remember every single phone number in your house, rattle off your grocery list without writing a single thing down, and recall stories from 30 years ago like they happened yesterday. But lately, you walk into a room and completely forget why you went there. You call your grandchild by the wrong name. You're reading a sentence, and by the time you reach the end, you've already forgotten the beginning. And deep down, there's this quiet, scary fear growing. Is this just aging? Or is something seriously wrong with my brain? I want you to take a breath, because what I'm about to share with you in this video is going to give you real hope. Because it turns out there is one simple thing you can chew right before bed tonight, something probably already sitting in your kitchen that science shows can start strengthening your memory in as little as 10 days. And I'm also going to reveal the one mistake most people over 60 make every single night, that is silently sabotaging their brain while they sleep. You do not want to miss that. So stay with me. This video could genuinely change how your brain feels when you wake up tomorrow morning. Hi, I'm Dr. James Mitchell, and for over 25 years, I've been helping men and women just like you live sharper, healthier, more independent lives well into their 60 seconds, 70 seconds, and beyond. I've seen what works, what doesn't, and what the mainstream rarely tells you. If that sounds like something you need, hit subscribe and tap that like button right now, because I post real trustworthy health information every single day just for you. Let me tell you about Margaret, a 67-year-old retired school teacher from Cincinnati, Ohio, who sat right across from me in my office about a year ago, twisting her hands in her lap, trying to hold back tears. She said, "Doctor, last Sunday at dinner, I looked at my granddaughter Emma's face and her name just disappeared. I smiled and pretended, but inside I was terrified." Margaret wasn't lazy. She wasn't careless. She was a woman who once memorized entire textbooks, and now she was scared to speak at family gatherings. Her daughter had quietly started Googling Alzheimer's symptoms. But here's what nobody had told Margaret yet. What was happening to her had a very specific, very fixable cause. And the answer was found in something she was doing, or rather not doing, every single night before bed. And when I told her what it was, she looked at me and whispered, "Why didn't anyone tell me this sooner?" Keep watching, because I'm about to tell you exactly what I told her. Here's something your doctor may have never sat down and truly explained to you, and I want you to really hear this. After the age of 60, your brain actually begins to physically shrink. Now don't let that scare you, let it motivate you. Studies show the brain loses roughly 0.5% of its volume every single year after 60, and the area hit hardest is called the hippocampus. That's your brain's memory headquarters. Think of it like the filing cabinet where every important memory, every face, every name, every cherished moment gets stored. And when that filing cabinet starts shrinking, things start slipping. But here's what makes it even more critical, and most people have absolutely no idea about this. Your brain does its most important repair and memory consolidation work at night, while you're sleeping. Scientists call it the glymphatic system, basically your brain's overnight cleaning crew that flushes out toxic waste, strengthens memory connections, and rebuilds what the day broke down. But that cleaning crew needs the right fuel to do its job properly, and after 60, your body's ability to absorb and deliver that nighttime fuel drops dramatically, which means your brain is showing up to do repair work with an empty toolbox. The good news? Once you understand this, fixing it becomes surprisingly simple. And that's exactly where what you chew before bed becomes the most powerful thing you can do for your brain tonight. Now, before I tell you exactly what to chew, I want you to understand why chewing itself matters, because this surprised even some of my longtime patients. When you chew, you're not just breaking down food, you're actually activating a direct neurological response. Chewing stimulates blood flow to the brain, specifically to the prefrontal cortex and the hippocampus, those exact memory centers we just talked about. Research published in the Journal of Oral Health showed that the simple act of chewing increases cerebral blood flow by up to 28%. 28%. That means before the food even reaches your bloodstream, the act of chewing it is already waking your brain up, feeding it oxygen, and priming it for that overnight repair cycle. And when you do this right before bed, during that critical window about 30 to 45 minutes before sleep, you are essentially handing your brain's overnight cleaning crew exactly what they need to show up and do their best work. Now that's why a pill doesn't do the same thing. A powder dissolved in water doesn't do the same thing. There is something uniquely powerful about the chewing action combined with the right food at the right time of night. So now let's talk about the first food. And I want you to stay with me through all three, because the third one is the one that surprised Margaret the most, and honestly it surprises almost every patient I share it with. I want you to picture a walnut for a moment. Have you ever noticed that when you crack one open, it looks almost exactly like a tiny human brain? Two halves, wrinkled surface, folded layers. Now I'm not usually one for coincidences in medicine, but nature was giving us a pretty clear hint here. Walnuts are loaded with a specific omega-3 fatty acid called ALA, which directly feeds and rebuilds the protective coating around your brain's nerve cells. Think of that coating like the rubber insulation on an electrical wire. When it wears thin, signals slow down, connections misfire, and memories start slipping. That's where names disappear mid-sentence. That's where you walk into a room and your brain just goes blank. But here's what makes walnuts truly special for nighttime specifically. They are one of the only foods on Earth that naturally contain melatonin. So when you chew them before bed, you're simultaneously feeding your brain's repair system and supporting deeper, more restorative sleep, which is exactly when memory consolidation happens. A UCLA study found adults over 60 who consumed walnuts regularly scored significantly higher on memory and cognitive function tests. Just 4 to 6 walnut halves, chewed slowly 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Margaret started here, and by day 3 she was already sleeping deeper than she had in years. Now I can already see some of you smiling, and I love that. When I tell patients over 60 that one of the best things they can chew before bed for their memory is dark chocolate, the reaction is always the same. First disbelief, then a big smile. But let me be very clear, I am not talking about milk chocolate candy bars or anything loaded with sugar. I mean specifically dark chocolate, 70% cacao or higher. That distinction is everything. At 70% and above, dark chocolate becomes a completely different experience for your aging brain. It's extraordinarily rich in compounds called flavonols, which trigger the production of BDNF. Think of it as fertilizer for your brain. It stimulates growth of new brain cells, strengthens connections between existing ones, and actively protects your neurons from age-related damage. A Columbia University study followed adults aged 50 to 69 consuming high flavanol dark chocolate daily for 3 months. Their memory scores resembled people 20 to 30 years younger. Additionally, within just 2 hours of eating it, blood flow to your hippocampus, your memory headquarters, measurably increases. When consumed 30 to 45 minutes before bed, those flavonols enter your bloodstream right as your brain transitions into deep memory consolidation sleep. Just 1 to 2 small squares, chewed slowly. Margaret laughed and said, "I've been feeling guilty about wanting chocolate for 30 years. I told her this is science, not indulgence." Now here's the one that surprises everyone, and it surprised Margaret most of all. Raw honey, not the processed golden syrup sitting on most grocery store shelves. I mean raw, unfiltered honey, the kind that's slightly cloudy, sometimes crystallized, and packed with natural enzymes and antioxidants that processed honey completely destroys. Here's what makes raw honey extraordinary for your sleeping brain specifically. Your brain consumes enormous amounts of glycogen, stored glucose during overnight repair and memory consolidation. And after 60, your liver's ability to maintain stable glycogen levels through the night drops significantly. So around 2 or 3 a.m., your brain actually runs low on fuel mid-repair, and that overnight memory work gets interrupted. 1 teaspoon of raw honey before bed slowly releases just enough natural glucose to keep your brain fueled through its entire overnight repair cycle without spiking your blood sugar. Now here's where everything comes together. Chew 4 to 6 walnuts, 1 to 2 squares of 70% dark chocolate, then finish with 1 small teaspoon of raw honey in that exact order, 30 to 45 minutes before bed. Together, these three work as a complete nighttime brain repair system. Margaret followed this combination for 10 days straight. What happened next, I'll share with you very shortly. But first, if someone you love keeps forgetting things, share this video right now. You might genuinely change their life. Now let me walk you through exactly what happens inside your brain over these 10 days, because understanding this will keep you motivated every single night. During days 1 through 3, you won't notice dramatic changes yet, and that's completely normal. Don't quit. What's happening underneath is powerful. Your brain's glymphatic system, that overnight cleaning crew we talked about, is finally getting the fuel it's been starved of. Toxic waste proteins that accumulate between brain cells and are directly linked to memory loss are being flushed out more efficiently. Your neurons are beginning to rebuild their protective myelin coating. Think of it like clearing years of clutter from that filing cabinet. Before you can find things faster, you first have to clean it out. Then days 4 through 7 arrive, and this is where most of my patients say something quietly shifts. They start recalling names a little faster. They finish sentences without losing their train of thought. They wake up feeling mentally clearer than they have in months. Margaret called me on day 6 and said, "Doctor, I remembered my neighbor's husband's name today. I haven't been able to do that in 2 years." Small moment, enormous meaning. Then days 8 through 10, this is what I call the memory click moment. The brain's new neural connections have been reinforced enough times that sharper recall starts feeling natural again, not effortful. Margaret sat at Sunday dinner on day 10, looked at her granddaughter Emma, and not only remembered her name instantly, she recalled Emma's entire school recital story from 3 months prior, word for word. Her daughter reached across the table and squeezed her hand with tears in her eyes. That is what 10 nights of feeding your brain correctly can do. Your brain was never broken. It was just waiting for you to give it what it needed. Now, I promised you at the very beginning of this video that I would reveal the one mistake most people over 60 make every single night that silently sabotages their brain while they sleep, and here it is. Scrolling through your phone in bed. I know, it feels harmless, maybe even relaxing, but here's what's actually happening inside your brain during those 20, 30, 40 minutes of nighttime scrolling. The blue light emitted from your phone screen directly suppresses melatonin production by up to 58%. Remember, melatonin isn't just your sleep hormone, it's the biological signal that activates your brain's entire overnight repair and memory consolidation cycle. When you suppress it, your glymphatic system never fully activates. Those toxic waste proteins don't get flushed. Those new neural connections don't get properly reinforced. You sleep, but your brain never truly repairs. And here's the heartbreaking part. Margaret was doing this every single night, lying in bed, scrolling for 45 minutes before sleep, completely unaware she was canceling every benefit her brain desperately needed. The fix is beautifully simple. Phones off, or face down 45 minutes before bed. Chew your walnuts, your dark chocolate, your raw honey. Let your brain work in peace. One small change tonight. 10 days from now, you will feel the difference. Write day 1 in the comments right now if you're starting tonight. I personally read every single one. Here are 3 simple, zero-cost habits that will multiply everything we've talked about tonight. First, drink 1 full glass of plain water 30 minutes before your bedtime combination. After 60, mild dehydration is incredibly common, and it literally thickens your blood, reducing the oxygen and nutrient delivery your brain desperately needs overnight. 1 glass changes that completely. Second, avoid processed carbohydrates and sugary snacks after 7 p.m. entirely. Crackers, white bread, sweetened yogurt, these spike your insulin levels right when your brain needs stable, clean fuel, and they directly interfere with your glymphatic system's activation. Third, sleep on your side rather than your back. This one surprises everyone, but research from Stony Brook University found that the glymphatic system actually clears brain waste significantly more efficiently when you sleep on your side. Small adjustment, remarkable difference. These 3 habits, combined with your nightly walnut, dark chocolate, and raw honey ritual, create a complete overnight brain restoration system that works with your body's natural biology, not against it. On day 10, Margaret didn't call my office, she called her daughter instead. And unprompted, she began reciting a detailed childhood memory, her daughter's 6th birthday party, the pink dress she wore, the song they sang, the cake her husband had surprised them with. Her daughter went completely silent on the phone. Then she whispered through tears, "Mom, I feel like I got you back. That is why I do this work." And friend, that same brain is inside you right now, waiting. Tonight, 30 minutes before bed, chew your walnuts, your dark chocolate, your raw honey. Put your phone down. Sleep on your side. That's it. If this video helped you, please like it and subscribe. I post every single week because your health genuinely matters to me. And listen, next week I'm revealing the one common breakfast habit that most seniors over 60 do every single morning that accelerates memory loss faster than almost anything else. You will not want to miss that one.